I just there was bits of it where I was just like, what did I just see?
I like
That
how
was a really nice accidental opening line there.
So much in this film that is a bit questionable. I'm actually slightly surprised that you picked it, Emmanuel, because of what happens into it. But
This
I
is the
feel like
sign. This is a sign of a classic Emmanuel pick, though, because we are all we can't fucking wait. We need Ben and Pat to get here now because we're too excited to talk about it.
Yeah, the common theme with Emmanuel's picks is they leave me thinking that doesn't seem like Emmanuel.
He unintentionally picked a sexist film. Oh,
Oh man.
do you reckon
I'd love it if he just pulled the phone and just went, "It was intentional."
Oh.
Oh god.
I was reading a bit on Wikipedia. They made it for 3 million and it only got 2 million at box office.
3 million in 1957. That was a big budget.
Yeah, I'm sure it's what it said. And it only got 2. I
Man,
gather it didn't do very well.
it's a strange one because it was successful in other ways.
I guess to be fair, back then Fred Astaire would have been like the equivalent of someone like Tom Cruise now.
Hmm.
Oof.
God.
Well, it would no, without the Scientology, just
Yeah.
maybe-
Fred Astaire's life mirrored Tom Cruise's when they started going to the Church of Scientology.
was Scientology even around during that time?
Scientology's always been around, Simon.
the point is he wasn't part of a cult.
That we know of.
That we know of. Yeah. I mean, there was a 30-year difference between him and Audrey, so that was questionable.
Only
That-
30.
That was the
Questionable.
thing for me. Like I don't want to go into it. I won't go into it too much yet. But the lead up to that first kiss, I was going, oh, okay, so they've got a father. Oh,
Should have called this like Wedding with the Pharaoh or like something like that.
Even that scene where she's in the wedding dress and then the vicar comes out and it's like, "Oh, I'll marry you right now." I was like, "No, you wouldn't. You would think he was her dad. You wouldn't think he was her groom."
That'd have been great for you to come out and gone, the father of the bride. And he's like, fuck yourself.
Yeah, but I feel like it's just set for that time period, because I feel like when was this set again? It's
1957.
What I feel was Al Capone still around during this time? Because I feel like during
I really
I
thought you
feel
were going
like
to say Alka Pops.
no Al Capone because
Man of ice around.
WKD Blue.
I felt like he was gonna call her like I feel like he was gonna go, "Hey, how do you like to talk like this, doll face?" And I was like, I feel like it would have suited him for some reason. I don't know why, because just because of that particular time period. I'm like,
You're going to have to
Is that-
retire your sunglasses and give you a fedora.
Somebody
Oh,
needs to
fucking
speak
hell,
Bugsy
Jesus.
Malone
Ugh.
so that Simon
Gross,
does that
gross.
voice again.
Al Capone died 10 years before this film, so not too far.
His last words were, "Hey there, doll face."
it's wonderful, yeah. Nice.
Oh, fucking hell. Can Pat shit faster, please? I'm going to grief them.
Ben's coming tonight, right?
He said, won't be long.
Oh, okay.
Hurry.
Oh, well, that was Pat.
Hurry the fuck up.
I have a stay away.
You say you have a problem staying awake, man?
Yeah, I'm so tired.
Oh, you had a busy week.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really sleepy. But it's
Mm.
He would have been more energized than he saw your scores.
I didn't think it would be this bad.
We've all been there.
I wasn't even the second lowest scorer.
I was surprised that you didn't hate this.
I was
just-
I do hate this. I was practically, I'm practically on your side at the minute. Like, considering Rob and Humphrey gave you both a 3.
Yeah, when I initially scored it, it was a lower score than The Greatest Showman, and I was like, I can't be having that. I inflated it.
Fucking,
Jesus
I
Christ.
I had
can't
half
be
an
having-
hour left, and I'm like, I want to stop this film.
I am interested, Dave, because I don't really understand dancing, and it'll be good to hear from somebody who does about it. Because there was a lot of scenes where I was going, this seems a bit off, but equally I know nothing about it.
Ben, that fucking name, you have outdone yourself.
Thank you very much. I saw it this morning and I was like,
That is fucking dirt. I love it.
Fuck you.
Absolute filth.
Speaking of filth, where's that?
It's always Pat. He can't have a shit like, I don't know, at 8 o'clock.
Like I said, he's doing it I think he does it to spite me. He just knows I'm going to get annoyed. So he's like,
does, yeah.
Does he
oh,
just
it's
like?
10 o'clock. I'll just get started now, I guess.
Yeah,
No, he
saves
does.
it up all week. And
I was going to say he saves it up all day, and then
can
just
get myself
shits.
get really kind of like he have all the cheddar he can eat, and then it makes him like explode.
Friday night, his stomach is hurting like never before, and he's like, no, I must save it for 10 o'clock just before the call.
I've got an image of Pat sitting
Oh no.
in his night, especially for this.
But like all of that hamburger talk was really, it's just like it went on for quite a while. I didn't realize you guys talked
It really did.
this much. I'll talk to you guys a lot more.
The most controversial.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. I
Oh,
got a
actually,
lot off my chest.
so I do need to ask you guys: do you guys actually prefer smash burgers than thick burgers?
I personally do, yeah, because I really like, well, if they're done right and they're thin enough, I really like the crust that you get on a smash burger. I think it's
Okay.
harder to get that on a thick burger.
It's me.
But thick burgers have their place as well.
Okay, fair enough. Because like, I feel like because if you do smash burgers, they usually get really dry really fast to me. That's why I
Yeah,
always
you have
prefer
to
thick.
like, you have to sort of get like that window before it just burns to a crisp. But to be honest, even if it does burn to a crisp, I'm all right with it sometimes. As long as it's thin enough. As long as it's
So
thin
I'm
enough.
guessing you prefer your bacon crispy than chewy then.
I think there's place for both. What I really love, right, is when bacon's cooked so that the fat is just like, it almost like dissolves when you bite into it, like that level of crispy.
Oh, so you want
But it's easy
pancetta.
to go beyond that and just end up with like
Okay, so
bark.
I know exactly the type of burger Rob will probably eat.
To be honest, I mean, I'm talking about how cheddar is a moral wrong and all that, but I'll eat any burger really.
You say
Get
that,
all
right?
your
But
get all your cheese talk out before Pat comes in. You know, he's a very sensitive bloke about cheese.
you say that, but like if I put like American cheese on like a fillet of fish, right? You'll be fucking mad at me. You know, gross.
Who's ever had a fillet of fish? Like,
I actually quite like a fillet of fish.
Yeah, I like
Really?
you've had it before, but
I've
like
never heard of it.
know that you've eaten
I
it.
like, yeah, I like the filet of fish. I just wish the cheese was different.
I'm surprised that many of us have tried that or even are aware of it.
I wouldn't
Well,
touch
Do you
it.
know what's a good thing to ask for at McDonald's is a beef burger, but with a steamed bun from the fillet of fish.
No,
It
it
works
is.
really well.
It is your money back. Woo.
Your money.
But the steamed bun kind of hydrates the burger, so it's
I've
all
got- I've got a steamed
right.
bun.
But also like because there's so many McDonald's in around the world, you got to try like all the different types of McDonald's, right? And you go,
Yeah.
so was this like a lobster? So it's not fillet of fish, it's fillet of prawns and lobster. Might as well try that. Sure,
Basically
why
a
not?
po' boy.
Because it's just like a different style of burgers. It's like
You can,
have you
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 can-
ever had the 7 patty layered Big Mac?
What are you saying, Emmanuel?
I was just saying, UK McDonald's suck. Who's
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah,
is it?
kind of, yeah. It's
Like,
it's
why did you just say, "Oh, we're in the UK"? Yeah, we could care less.
there is there are much better McDonald's in
Yeah.
the world, much more than the UK one. UK one is subpar, I would say. Yeah,
That should be our motto. Just like England, it's like food's not our thing.
Or just there are better places in the world.
And now the beef burgers at McDonald's here, they make me ill, so I can't eat the
Oh,
beef.
really?
I can eat everything else they serve, but the chicken, the McChicken, irritates my throat.
It does what?
Irritates my throat.
Oh, really?
Oh.
And Pat, why are you on your Xbox?
Is he on the
Oh, he's always on his
One
fucking
thing.
Xbox.
I bet
He
you
wasn't
was
even-
watching the game.
He wasn't even
Oh, wait, no,
shitting.
that's
He was
later.
he was cooking.
Yeah.
I'm on the top first before you turn on your Xbox.
Do you know, I think the best McDonald's I've ever been to was in Geneva because they did chicken wings.
Okay, yes.
Oh, wings, eh?
Yeah,
I didn't think they would
Yeah.
do that anywhere in the world.
yeah, it was really good.
I liked
remember-
American.
I didn't think much of the American one.
I was quite. I was. Oh, this is where they take the photo for the menu before they put it in someone's armpit and transport it here.
But then, to be fair, like,
That
McDonald's.
was a bit too much for Humphrey.
I think my view of McDonald's in America was skewed a bit because I was like, oh, there's McDonald's at home. Whereas, like, I was excited to try other fast food in America.
Hmm.
So maybe that's why I didn't like it as much.
So when my
Oh, yeah.
brother went to America, he went to Chicago to meet one of his friends, and basically he had McDonald's and he was ill for about a week.
Is
He
this
literally-
David?
Yeah,
He's always got a bad stomach.
I don't know what the fuck he had, but he literally was like liquid shit for about a couple of days. It
He
was very
was,
bad.
he was.
David Humphrey was literally liquid shit.
Liquid shit.
Gross. Fucking gross.
It's the butthole.
Blue, blue.
But I
Yeah.
will say, because the States have all the burger places, you kind of like will go, do I want to eat McDonald's where I can eat at home, or do I want to try In-N-Out or like Five Guys? Well, before they came out.
Hey, you like In and Out Five Guys, dear.
Yeah, the
Don't
best
fuck
thing I had
yourself.
in America.
It always gets me when you go to Five Guys and it says Five Guys mayonnaise, and it's like, no.
Okay, that's quite funny. Okay, I've never,
No.
I don't do mayonnaise, but just hearing that is quite funny.
I can't. I don't know. I don't know how people eat Five Guys.
Oh, I love it.
It's a burger. A burger is a burger.
No, I know, but it
Uh,
tastes like the ocean.
My favorite Five Guys, but not my favorite Five Guys. My favorite burger place by far is Shake Shack.
Hmm.
Ooh, favorite burger place? Oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
sorry, favorite burger place, not favorite burger, right?
Yeah, you tell them.
Well, yeah, no, favorite burger as well. Like in terms of like fast food.
I feel like there are better burgers than Shake Shack, but Burger Place is quite good because like the fries and the drinks and all the stuff that change constantly.
Mm.
I just say, yeah, better Burger Place, best burger.
Even their chicken sides are really good because they do like
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know what
okay.
they call them, but they're kind of like little chunks of like I think they're little chunks of tenders. They're really good.
Yeah, okay. That's actually that's
Oh.
quite nice.
Have you ever had Slim Chickens?
Yeah,
Yes,
I really didn't like it.
It's
Really?
okay.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. There's one near where I work, and I go there. Well, I shouldn't. At least last week, I think I had it at least twice.
I really
But-
like the Texas toast, but I didn't
Oh,
like
the
the chicken.
fucking Texas toast.
Yes, that is fucking yeah. The Texas toast is awesome.
Oh, it's nice.
I feel like at least the place that I went to the first time, the Slim Chickens, it was like they didn't do the sauce right. There was something wrong with the sauce, and like because they mix it in with like the wings, and you eat it. It's like I don't know if there's something because I went to another Slim Chickens afterwards. Like I tried the same sauce. It's like no, this is much better. This 'cause there's lack of consistency, but that lack of consistency made me go. I can give it a hit or miss, because
Yeah.
there's only chicken. There's so many chicken places around,
I think
Okay.
the problem is it's so expensive that you want it to be pretty good, or you're not going to go back because you're not going to waste another £10 on chicken, are you?
Well, I think the thing with Slim Chickens for me is that the one that I went to is across the road from Wingstop. And I think I was probably
Oh.
sat there thinking, I wish I was in Wingstop.
If it's the wing stop on the corner,
Yeah,
right?
on Shaftesbury
Yeah,
Avenue.
okay, yeah. Because I would go there, but they only take card. Oh, and Pat just said, "Don't wait for him." All right.
24
All right,
minutes in, we've been instructed not to wait for him. So
Yeah, okay. So,
Why?
Good job.
Emmanuel, why did you pick this
Why?
film?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, bye.
Objection.
Sustained.
Doug said that
Fucking hell.
So, two reasons. So this is I say, a loved film by Camilla.
Knew it.
It's also a classic in terms of the era, in terms of fashion as well. Like, I think there's probably a lot of fashion students who like know this film, and she's nodding her head, and like just of the dresses and designs and stuff in it, and all the kind of real world references or accuracies to like the fashion industry, or people in the industry, or people like in the industry who are in the film. So, and I was just like, why not? It's got some dance, it's got some singing in it. I didn't see it before I watched it. She did tell me to watch it before I picked it, but I was just like, watch it. You like it, right? I said, yeah, really. Yeah, I don't know. That's cool. Halfway through, I was thinking, I mean, I like it, but I don't know. But yeah, again, it's got its issues, but yeah, that's why I picked it.
Yeah, no, when it started and you've got like that scene where I did like a scene, I did like a line at the start actually. It's the one where the older woman says something like, "I wouldn't presume to tell a lady what to think." But yeah, that scene where she's talking about, well, it's kind of like a sort of, it's almost like a strategy meeting about what they're going to do next. And I was thinking before I watched it that it was probably one of Camilla's favorite films rather than yours.
Yeah.
But then when I was watching that, I was thinking, is it Camilla's nan who was a dressmaker?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I was watching that, I was like, okay, this makes sense now.
Yeah, it does make sense in that respect. And the kind of older lady in the film, she's the one who's usually, what does she usually do? The older lady in this film, she's usually the one who does, isn't, oh, she usually does the vocal training, but she doesn't usually act in the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
but yeah, a lot of kind of like real world stuff going on, like the what's his name? Fred Astaire was based off of a real photographer.
Oh fuck!
I never want to meet that guy.
Oh no.
He's real.
Classic in the fashion industry who worked at like the 3 biggest fashion magazines in the world or of time. Like they're still the biggest ones. It's Vogue, Bazaar, Harper's Bazaar, and Elle. And he also did a lot of photography for the film. And the Ditzy model who acts like she's really dumb, who's also annoying, the character anyway, she is an iconic model herself, who she was big for a lot of things, even now, like all the kind of dresses and stuff she would have done back in the day, and worked with that photographer who did a lot of photography for the film as well. So there was lots of little things like that. And even with the pink thing, I didn't realize, you guys probably knew, but I didn't realize that it used to be the opposite, that pink wasn't so strongly associated with girls before
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
40s. Before the 40s.
Really? I knew it was a thing, but I didn't realize it was that recent.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
that.
It used to be blue for girls. And maybe even pink for a lot of pink for boys and blue for girls was the thing like before the 40s. So when she was saying pink this and this, it would have been quite like innovative at the time. And following that, a few years afterwards, there was a real company that then went actually they're onto something, and then they started pushing pink for girls as well, and women. So it had real world impact as well in like the fashion industry. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like that's all stuff that obviously I missed.
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah, I didn't know
I wouldn't have known as well. It's just because they're lovely coming
that.
Not you.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone else can talk. Ahead.
I think the thing for me was like, well, one of my biggest issues was casting, to be honest, because the age difference between Fred Astaire and Audrey Hepburn, like I was saying, I said before you got here, Ben, I thought, because when they sort of took over the bookshop and like, well, that scene annoyed me anyway, because it's like you've just taken over this poor lady's day job so that you can be a dick to her.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
sort of take over the bookshop, and then you've got the thing going on between Fred Astaire and Audrey Hepburn. And I was like, okay, so I guess they're going to have like a father-daughter thing going on. And then he kisses her. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, maybe that's something they'd have got away with if it was like a stage show and you were like far enough away that you wouldn't realise that Fred Astaire is so much older. But it just, I don't know, it's a really weird visual for me. And then later on as well, when you've got the wedding, and then the vicar comes out and he's like, oh, you guys must want to get married. I can marry you right now. I was like, no, you wouldn't think that. You would come out and you'd think he was the father of the bride. There's no way that you would think that he was the groom.
Some
And then-
poor casting agent went to Egypt, broke into a pyramid, went through many, many booby traps, broke open a sarcophagus and unwrapped Fred Astaire specifically for this. And you have the audacity to moan about it. Fuck
Well,
you,
look,
mate.
I have some respite for them because I've also got an issue with Audrey Hepburn being
Oh, good.
because the bit where she's going, oh, I can't believe I can be a model. I've got such a funny face. I was like, nobody has ever said that about Audrey Hepburn.
She's not very conventionally attractive, old Audrey Hepburn.
Oh yeah, sure. That's the thing with me is that obviously I understand that we'll make this argument probably a few times that it's a product for its time and all that, but it's kind of like obviously Fred Astaire had this like long career of being an amazing choreographer and dancer and that, so you understand why he's in this film because he sells tickets, he's got a great reputation, and even though he's getting on, he's still gonna get people to see the movies he's in, and so like someone's thought, oh, let's just get Audrey Hepburn with him because that would just be like a perfect excuse to like make a load of money. And they pair them together, and it's even though it's an unlikely combo, I understand why they did it. But then, and even now, it just seems a bit weird. Like, oh, the age gap is just too big. It would have been so much better if they kind of like walked into the story a bit more.
It's like watching a Roger Moore James Bond, isn't it?
I was about to say, fucking hell.
It is. It's just at least with Roger Moore, at least he started off young, but the trouble is, it's like the Fred Astaire thing. He kind of like it. Just you have to have a bit of awareness that the fact that it doesn't quite work as well as it would have done 20 years before. So, but I don't know. It's a complicated one, and using Audrey Hepburn. They were like, oh yeah, she's just a bookish like bookworm. No one's gonna like her, but she's still Audrey Hepburn. She's one of the most beautiful women that lived in that period, and even to now, she's just stunning. But it's even if you're going to dress her down, she's still got a beautiful face, and she's not got the funny face that everyone says she is.
She's got a funny face,
Yeah.
Ben. Funny
This
face.
is not the funny face that was advertised.
It was.
These look like the actions of a funny face to you.
But they did that a lot in those days, in the 50s and the 60s. It's like they just like would always choose someone that could like always look glamorous no matter what they were for. And suppose that is, you're just going to see these films just for the actors rather than the film itself.
No.
So
I think that's the thing. That's with the scene with the kiss, because it's like, I don't know. Looking at it now, you're kind of going like, ugh. But to be fair, in the 50s, like, you know, you could suspend your disbelief a bit more, and something like that was seen as like quite a magical thing to have happen. So fair enough. Like, I can forgive it on that level, but I'm still like, Fred Astaire is an old man.
that's his best, you could say.
That's what killed the film for me. When that happened, I was just like, what? I was just sitting there with my mouth open, like, did that just what? And then the rest of the film was just like, oh god.
But that was kind of my thing, because that took me by surprise, and I went, oh, and then I was like, okay, it was 1957. This was like more acceptable then. That's not great, but like, okay. But then he treats her so horribly throughout the rest of the film.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. I don't care what fucking time period is it like we're in. You know what you're fucking doing here. And then Audrey Hepburn like turns around and then is like, he's all right, really. And I was like, no. And I was like, this is horrible.
That's the thing, like he acts like such a dick, and then he has a solo with an umbrella, and it's just like, I feel like this guy's taunting me because I really don't like him, and now he's just waving an umbrella around at me, and then acting like I'm applauding him.
I'm the matador, and you're the bull, and I'm going to hit you in the face with an umbrella,
no.
dick.
The fucking matador bit. I was like, I don't agree with it in real life, and I don't agree with it in that film. Like, what the fuck? Who thought of this? Like the fact that he just looks at a cow on the trailer on the back of a fucking tiny car, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to do a matador dance in the middle of a fucking square." It's like, they only really did it because they was like, "Oh, yeah, we've got Fred Astaire, he can dance."
Yeah.
Let's just get him to dance.
Can he? I could probably do that. I could walk around in a circle doing this.
To be fair, though, I don't think I could drop an umbrella and then kick it back up towards myself.
I'd try it at him.
You try and get his mouth. Fuck off.
No, this is the first Fred Astaire film I've ever seen, I think. And
It might be as well.
This is not the best one to pick for. He's got much better ones.
That's
What
good.
have I seen of a Fred
Yeah.
Astaire?
I'm glad to hear that.
I should pick another one that's actually really good for that. But yeah,
It's fucking better, be.
but that's the thing, though, because I don't think I've ever seen a Fred Astaire film before, and I don't think I've ever seen a Gershwin film before either. So I was like, oh, this will be interesting, if for nothing else, and to like fill a bit of a gap in my film knowledge. And then I was watching it like,
Fuck yeah, exactly.
oh man, there's a lot of kind of little things like from what you guys said. So like, where do I start? So the whole thing about the age gap, I'll just kind of jump around. Like she acted in a lot of films around that time with men around that kind of age gap, basically, like that much older than her. So like someone else said, yeah, it was more acceptable, but it was also, it wasn't weird to see her with older men in film, basically. He kind of was casted in that way, or typecasted in that way. But at the same time, coming to the whole funny face thing, she wasn't initially asked to do this role. They asked this other lady who's actually, I think she's danced with Fred Astaire before, hasn't she?
I'm just picturing this lady with two glass eyes, like, you've got a funny face. No, let's get Audrey Hepburn.
What? I just missed that, sorry.
I said I'm just picturing the original actress being a lady with like 2 glass eyes, and they're like, "Nah, it's all right. We'll go with Kim."
Oh man. But yeah, it was a famous female dancer, like I guess almost as famous as Fred Astaire or whatnot in her own
Ginger
right.
Roberts.
No, it's Sid Charisse. She not Ginger Rogers, she's not as famous as her, but she was like well known at the time and really good. But she turned down the role. She's like, nah, I'm not playing in that. And they're just like, oh. And then Audrey Hepburn's agent saw it, but was just like, I don't think you should act in this film. It's not really that good. And Audrey was like, no, I'm doing it. Why? Because what you call it? Fred Astaire's in it. And the people for the film, they kept saying because I think maybe even Fred Astaire was unsure whether he wanted to continue. But basically, they kept telling the other actors that the other actor had already signed on. So if you come on, then you'll be able to play with this actor.
Oh, I remember reading about that.
I just like the idea that this original woman just read the script and went, no, this is a role for someone with a funny face, and I can't take it away from Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, but this is like the serious stereotypical movies that were doing in like the 80s and 90s, like they had a really hot girl, but they had to really make her like not hot, so they put on like the really overly baggy clothes and like the 3-inch thick glasses, and they're like, but you go, but there's a hot girl underneath that. There's no amount of glasses and like
no matter how much you try and dress up like Simon.
Yeah.
And then they take it off. Oh,
yeah. She's amazing.
They basically put a Hessian sack on her, and you start. It's Audrey Hepburn's face, but you're not going to get away from that. It's just the face. It's well.
Patrick, would you like to weigh in?
Your name, oh man.
I didn't really get much from it.
Fuck.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I spent the first sort of 20 minutes I sat there watching it, and I was like, "This really isn't for me." And then I spent the rest of the time watching it while filling out my sticker book. But that's
what
me
sort
with
of
musicals.
sticker book is this?
World
Winnie
Cup
the
one.
Pooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
the sticker
okay,
books,
fair
Wendell
enough.
sticker
Oh my
books.
god, Audi 5. Saying that, they do a Warhammer fucking sticker book, and I was like, I'm gonna spend £90 on this.
That was fucking fantastic. Sticker book. What are you? 5. Actually, admittedly, I do have a sticker book.
I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna spend
got
like
even-
money on it.
It's got even edgier characters on it.
Oh, God.
What book do you have, Pat?
Muse. Pass me.
I have the World Cup one.
Oh, nice.
Get your book out, Pat.
Yeah, get it out.
Yeah, get your book out for the lads.
Two
I've re-
girls,
oh.
one World Cup.
I actually got an NFL one as well.
Oh, really? I didn't
Oh,
know they
who
did.
cares about
I'd really love it if you just opened it up and it was just Winnie the Pooh.
that?
Why would I open up something that I've got no interest in?
Ah, yeah, good cover.
Who knows? Who knows?
Baseball list coming next year for London.
I am right. The first time I saw Qatar, that logo, I really did think it said Pat Air. I was like,
Well, Pat, hey, you don't want to be around that.
why does the football have Pat Air? Do you like purposely buy that? I was like, oh no, it's Qatar. Yeah. I was like, got crazy for that. I was like,
Oh, right.
Pat Air. Well, you
All
purposely
aboard,
made it.
Pat Air.
No, it's just like,
Oh, I thought like Nike.
yeah, it was like Nike Air, but he like purposely made it as Pat Air. I was like, okay, sure, Pat. If you, I mean, like you like football, I guess. But like,
No, hot air rises, so it'll be the highest journey you could go.
Pat Air balloon.
well,
All right, sorry.
back to-
Emmanuel's trying to say something.
Oh, sorry, we've all digressed. I was gonna say, baseball's coming to London next year. Was
That's
anyone
coming back.
yeah, MLB.
That backfired.
thinking of going to it?
No,
I can't actually go.
Perhaps.
baseball's kind of boring.
Hmm. Well, if you are, just let me know. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if I'm or not. Be
That could
interesting.
be a fun day out.
Yeah. But Alec, you probably appreciate this reference. Actually, multiple people would, but I'm just singling you out anyway.
I appreciate it.
Camilla was just like the whole kind of beautifying someone with like thick glasses and this and trying to make him not look pretty. That my whole problem, but one of my big problems with She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I like as many problems with She-Hulk.
She-Hulk does
show
have many
has
issues
lots
with
of
She-Hulk.
problems. That's one of the least problems in that show.
Oh no.
Nah, like
Ah.
I'm surprised you got through She-Hulk. Hawkeye was better, I think.
I did say like around episode 7 I wasn't watching anymore, and then you went and put it back on. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Right."
true.
Oh, geez.
I'm surprised you got
Oh.
through that thing I made you watch.
I forgot now. I put it back on because I wanted to see Daredevil, and then I was just like, wait, aren't we meant to see like Hulk's son or something?
Mm.
Watch it to the end for other characters other than She-Hulk. Because like it's just written so.
And I don't blame anyone because She-Hulk is a cunt.
No, the character herself is cool, like in the comics.
Oh,
I,
in the
Alec
comics,
relates.
yeah.
I prefer She-Hulk to the Hulk.
Really?
So I like Bruce Banner more than I forgot her name, She-Hulk's name.
Jen Walters.
Jennifer, yeah. I prefer Bruce to Jennifer, but I prefer She-Hulk to the Hulk.
Oh yeah, I imagine she's much better handled in the comics, but in the show, fucking hell, what a cunt.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't remember if I was going to say anything else. Oh, that was an interesting fact. You was talking about Gershwin and musicals and stuff. Most of the production staff on this were from MGM musical, like MGM Studios, who were the one who did all the musicals and stuff and all the films. But they went to Paramount to do the film, so it was basically an MGM musical made by Paramount.
You know, funnily enough, when I was watching it, I was thinking I'm surprised that this wasn't MGM.
Yeah,
But I guess it was.
It's funny, like back in old Hollywood, it was kind of like the studios were named to do certain things. Like MGM was known for musicals, and Universal was known for their horror monster movies, and Warner Brothers was known for their gangster movies. So, and then it wasn't until a bit later they started to do over the genres a bit. So it's really quite interesting that they were kind of specialized in a certain thing, and then the studio started to branch out a bit and did a bit more other things.
Cool. Yeah. Do you know what Paramount was known for?
I can't remember. They weren't an old studio like Fox or Warner. They were a bit newer and later than that. But I think I could be wrong, but I think they were known for their westerns at that point. I think there were a lot of westerns that were Paramount back then.
That makes sense. Yeah, ironically, this film is today is in the top 400 to 100, I can't remember, of romantic films and musicals in America.
That's
Romances.
so fucking depressing.
But I mean, if it's
Romance
number
genre.
400, then it's fine, I guess. It's like, it's like,
I don't know.
It was nominated
Romance is
for top 100 though, and I think it's in the top hundreds for musicals, musical films.
I think it's such a hard genre to get a grasp on, though, because like About Time is such a highly rated film as well. But I'm just like, this is so creepy. I don't understand how anyone gets anything from this. But apparently people do.
Yeah, it's a genre in of itself. I guess it's just people just love it just for Audrey and Fred just doing their thing, what they're good at, I suppose.
Is the thing being horrible? Like, this is That was my whole problem with this. It was like they're acting like it's a romance and stuff, and it's like, here's Fred Astaire, he's doing his thing, and I'm like, is his thing being a prick? Because
Exactly.
he's knocking it out of the fucking park. I really like I can't relate to this guy at all. He's fucking horrible. Like it really came to oh god. Sorry, I'm just gonna go on a bit of a run. But like it's the bit when it's when Flostra comes into it. And this is the whole reason she's been here, and this is the whole way that he got her to participate in this. And then it's just so happened that she meets him on the night of something really important, and it's like, oh fuck. But it's just like unfortunate timing. But he's spent enough time with her by this point. Well, they fucking said they loved each other, but like fucking hell. But like this is the whole reason she's here, and then she's still like kind of gonna go like be on her way to go and do the thing that Fred Astaire wants her to do, but she's just gone. This is Professor Flostra. This is the guy. This is the guy that I came here to see, and he's like, oh, right, well, and he's like, come on, we're leaving, and she's like, what the fuck? And she's like, this is the guy I came here for, and he's like, you're never gonna see him again. He wants to fuck you, and I was like, whoa, hold on a minute, and I was like, the way to do this, Fred, I don't want to give you tips because you're like fucking 300, but like maybe you should have come in and gone, Audrey, I'm so fucking sorry this happened like tonight, but we need you tonight. The whole thing's like centered around you. Like so much money's gone into this. If you don't show up, people are going to be jobless. I need you to come tonight. And it's like, oh yeah, that would have been a completely logical, that would have been completely fair, like whatever, no problem. He doesn't do that. He goes, you're never fucking seeing him again. He wants to fuck you, and you said you love me, so come on then. And he strong arms her out, and I was like, oh, dick fucking move. And then they get to the thing, and she's like, no, he's a man of intellect, he wouldn't be interested in that anyway. And he goes, he's as interested in your intellect as much as I am interested in your intellect. And I thought,
which was
I was like, that is the meanest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard in my life. Just if you're actively trying to hurt this person's feelings, that is her most valued trait. And you've just belittled that. I'm like, that's it. If that's we are donezo. Like, fuck you. And I was thinking, like, I was trying to think of like an example of like how fucking heinous this is, right? And I came up with this is as bad as if one of us was talking to Ben, and Ben's Audrey Hepburn in this scenario.
Okay.
And I just turned around to Ben, just completely unbidden, and I just went, Ben, your gifts are shit. And I was like, that is just over the fucking line. Over the fucking line. Put so much thought and effort and like just the amount of time this man puts into his gift giving. It's amazing. It's always personal. It's always beautiful. And that he values very highly, and rightly so. So for someone to just go, fuck you, your gifts are shit, just be like, nah, man. we are done. That's the most horrible thing you could have possibly fucking said. Like, we are over. I don't.
Yeah.
He says that to her. He just says it just willy nilly, and I'm just like, you're holding on to that, aren't you, Audrey? No.
There she
holding
goes.
on to that.
It's like, wait, what? Yeah.
I think also given that the film's kind of built around her having a funny face, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just another layer of meanness if you've also got to believe that she's not even that attractive. Like
she's not attractive to be a model. She's like, she doesn't have the face for it.
Because the story presents her as being like quite naive as well. She's like really into fuck, I forgot what the fucking thing is. It's empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy. So.
Which weirdly brings on the first kiss. It's just
No.
Yeah. But then she's talking to the French guys, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know you spoke French." And she's like, "No, we didn't. But like, yeah, we can communicate with each other because we're empaths."
Oh right, yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, who's buying the drinks? And she's like, oh, I am. And he's like, mm-hmm. So like, she's presented as a bit naive anyway. So that makes it worse that he is doubly like, fuck your intellect. I find no value in your intellect. You're just a fucking funny face to me. And it's like, fuck, man. I couldn't be that mean. Me.
Yeah. Alec being me.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that I heard that the reason why Audrey Hepburn did this film was because she always wanted to be a ballet dancer, but for some reason she was refused to be one because she wasn't tall enough. And so she was just like, that was always her passion. So she always wanted to do something with a lot of dancing and some sort of like choreography or anything like that. So that's why she was drawn to this script and this story and this film in general, just because her rejection of being not perfect. So that was probably her reasoning for being in it. Even if
shorty ass.
Even if you look at it back, it's like, why the hell would someone not be, you know, so and so not tall enough to do something like that? It just make any sense. But I guess you can apply that to this film as well. It's like, oh, you're not pretty enough or conventionally pretty enough to be a model. So I can see why she was like, okay, I'm going to put that frustration in this film and just be like, this is what I'm doing.
I can see how she related to it, but I would have believed it a lot more if it was about her not being tall enough rather than having a funny face.
The trouble is, though, Audrey Hepburn's doing a really good job, but like, I don't have a problem with anyone's acting, but when we get to, they have a big blowout, and then she goes, right, I'm done with this, and she's at Flostra's apartment, and they're like, we gotta go get her. And this is like him going like, oh yeah, I said some things I shouldn't have said. And I'm like, correctamundo, fuckface. You shouldn't have said a lot of those things, actually. And they're like, we're going to go get her from this apartment. And so they impersonate other people, infiltrate this guy's fucking house, do a musical number, and then rock up into like his room, basically. And they're like, what's happening? They're like, we came to get you back, Audrey. And she's just like, these people, like, are not who they say they are. She doesn't say who they are. She just keeps saying that they're not who they're presenting themselves to be. And then they get asked to leave, and he goes, I'm not ready to leave. And it's like, this is this guy's fucking house. And so then the guy then, like, Foster then goes and goes and gets a weapon to get rid of him. And then he throws a guitar at him.
Oh, yeah.
And knocks him over a sofa and knocks him out. And Audrey's like, can you fuck off? And he's like, well, I guess this is the thanks I get. And then I'm like, God fucking damn it. But then what annoys me about all this is that after that, Flostra basically tries to force himself on her. And she goes, oh, I see. Like, gets away from him and stuff. And then she comes back to the fashion show and she's like, where's Fred? I need to see Fred Astaire. I need to see him like right now because we had a fight and I was horrible. I was just ghastly to him. Oh my God, I was so horrible. And it's just like, that guy being a rapist does not absolve Fred Astaire for being a cunt. There's more than two men in the world, Audrey. It's okay. The ending of this is that you fucking go home. You go and find a third person who's not fucking awful. But her just going like, oh, well, I had two men. One of them was a rapist, so I guess I'm going to go with option 2. And I was just like, no, that's not... That's not a happy fucking ending. That's you just went, he's better than that guy. I'll get married to him. It's like, fuck me. And so she gets worse. Because I was already like, I was like, man, fuck Fred Astaire's character. He's such a prick. And then her like going like, best of both worlds. Like, you know, sorry, lesser of two evils. Happy now. I was just like, this is so fucking weird.
Yeah, it is a strange one. I added on to what Ben said about Audrey. So in terms of Camilla was looking it up, it was two things why she didn't end up being a ballet dancer. the main thing was that she didn't have enough training because of World War II happened. And because her family were like royalty in a way.
They were like upper class.
They were upper class, but they had Jewish descent. So they had to go into hiding. And like she was malnourished because of how they were like I guess in hiding. Yeah, starving, not having enough food, which is why she had the figure she did, because her body didn't mature enough. But
Really?
ironically, she people kept telling her in the ballet she was too tall, and to kind of, because she was about 5'7". There's one who came after her called Darcy Bustle. They will not know who Darcy Bustle is.
No, Darcy Bustle is.
Darcy
Yeah, I
Bustle,
like
yeah.
Darcy Bustle.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do?
She was Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah, we know
She's
her.
on Strictly Come Dancing, yeah.
Yeah. She was
Oh.
absolutely.
About 5'8". He was always told that she was too tall to be a dancer.
Yeah,
So
that's what I got wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just making the assumption it was the same thing with Audrey, but Audrey was in ballet school with
The Royal,
I forgot her name,
Royal Ballet School.
but whoever she was with, and they've talked about how when she got there, it's basically like you don't know what it takes because you don't have enough training.
Damn.
Cool. I
As
didn't know.
if we wouldn't know who Darcy Bustle was.
God.
I remember. I
Oh,
remember
God.
her. I remember when she was that big.
Watch TV.
50 years old.
She was in the drawing room with the candelabra.
I didn't know her until you, because I don't watch TV. I've like almost never watched Strictly.
Yeah.
And
To be fair as well.
We should do that.
like my family's not one to really watch TV.
Strictly.
Perhaps for the best.
But
Never heard of Darcy Bustle till just now. Don't worry. You're not alone.
I only know it because my mum watched Strictly, to be fair.
there you go.
You're
Well,
so
yeah.
tall.
Also, just going back to the umbrella scene, which it made me laugh the way you said it, Rob. It looked like he was taunting you. But since you haven't seen other Fred Astaire films, it kind of makes sense. Basically, the audience would have expected him to do a scene like that.
Mm.
If they didn't put it in, or I guess shoehorn it in, they would have felt cheated for their money.
Yeah.
Like,
You got these things that you have to tick off for a Fred Astaire film.
yeah, where's the extended random dance scene?
Oh no, no, we
Why
had
is there
a,
a matador bit in it?
it was more than enough.
What does it really get?
I mean, I swear that was very popular back then. Like even in Spain and like those countries themselves, obviously it's out of fashion now. But at the time it would have been really big, especially in America. It was really popular. Like just with the kind of culture coming over from Mexico and just Latins in general. It's still dumb because it wasn't good or kind of accurate or useful in any kind of way. But I assume that's why they did it. Because it's like, oh, this is a popular thing lots of Americans like. Let's just put it in.
It did feel like a bit of a show reel of that, actually. It's kind of, I don't know, as somebody who'd never seen a Fred Astaire film, if you told me to go and make a Fred Astaire film, I'd probably include a lot of elements that are in this.
You can tell this was all like people who have never been to Paris,
Yeah.
because the French are not happy to see you, and they do not wave at you, and they do not smile at you, and they do. And if you go, "Bonjour Paris," they just tell you to fuck off.
I must admit, though, that scene where they first got there, I did relate to Fred Astaire a little bit. And it's the bit where he's going towards his car and he's like, I'm so tired, it's hard to say I'm tired. I was like, me too, Fred, me too.
Oh man. Thinking about France or Paris in particular. So at the time, besides just lots of rain, they were worried about their safety because there were lots of riots and protests. happening during that time in Paris. So it was just like, this is not a good time to be filming here. So they were doing a lot of things in a rush, I think, on some parts, just to not get involved or be like come in contact with the riots and stuff like that. And what was it? The whole kind of musical funny face or whatnot. Ironically, it's the whole thing is very different, but it's based off a musical Fred Astaire and his sister did way back in the day.
It's wonderful.
It's not.
Oh,
That's wonderful.
oh, it's wonderful. Oh, referencing the song.
Oh, that's what I was fucking me off with rhyming shit with words that had him letters on. It's like, no, fuck off.
Slow to crap.
No, like,
That was the thing, right? So me and Rachel watched the trailer because I was like, "Do you want to watch this with me?" So we watched the trailer, and that song was in it, and I was like, "Well, this is starting on a bad foot for me." And then it was in the bloody opening credits.
I asked her if she wanted to see it, and she said, "No, the last time I watched an Audrey Hepburn movie, she was in like a really creepy relationship with some guy who was really nasty to her, and I just didn't like it." And then I was like, And then I watched it and went, "Happened again."
Oh man, did Rachel watch it with you?
No, she didn't. I watched it this morning.
Sorry.
We all went to involve our girlfriends, and they just weren't having it.
Is that funny?
It's not a horror film with lots of violence.
It's domestic abuse of the mental kind.
It's just fair enough. Emotional.
fair enough.
Didn't give a fight for that. Yeah, okay.
He can't do it. He can't go like, no, it's really sweet. Really, it's just like
There's an underlying problem there.
it's not really.
Yeah,
It's not sweet at all. Simon, you've been uncharacteristically non-hyperverbal. How are you doing?
I mean, you guys have said the same sort of things I've been wanting to say anyway. I was like, because when I saw like the opening credits with "It's Just Wonderful" and all that stuff, right? And I was like, is this supposed to be like? I was thinking, is it could be like The Devil Wears Prada, but like a musical version? And I'm like, no, it just went sexual assault really fast, and not like gaslighting and all that stuff to this poor girl. It's the same shit that you guys have been saying. I have nothing really to add to this because it's just a bad movie. Well, it's a very well produced movie because it's so bright and colorful, right? It looks kind of nice to look at.
That's a criteria.
I mean, like, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's well produced, yeah, because of like the
Shark Boy and Lava Girl's got a lot of colors.
To be fair though, I do kind of agree with that because there's a scene early on where like the screen is cut into 3 parts and there's like somebody on like a big swing and that kind of thing. Like you can very clearly see where they've cut the scene so that they could get these 3 different shots on the same canvas. But I was like, to be fair, in 1957, that's quite a good idea.
And if there's actually one bit that I did enjoy, it was the little montage of him actually like taking the pictures and then like messing about with the colors and stuff and dropping things in. I actually reasonably enjoyed that bit. I was like, oh, it's nice to actually have a film that's about modeling and feature something to do with modeling. And I was like, that's my favorite scene, by the way. That's all I got in way of praise.
Say that again. Your favorite scene?
The montage where he's taking the pictures of her. So like when she's going down the stairs, or when she's got the flowers, and when she's got the dove and that, and he's like messing about with the colors, and he's putting balloons in and shit like that. I thought that was kind of slick. I thought that was neat. And like, they're kind of having fun with each other, and it's like, yeah, this is nice. And then it all just turns into a big train wreck. But like. Wee, this is lovely. Oh, it's the meanest thing I've ever heard.
I'm trying to search up this film, Gigi. So she turned down.
Good game.
Oh, that film was rated worse than this. She turned it down. Basically, she turned down the lead role in Gigi to play this film. But Gigi is rated 6.6, and this one's like rated 7.8 or something.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting. I thought Gigi was higher in esteem than this, but I could be wrong. I've never seen it.
I haven't either. It's only rated 7 actually. So not much better. So they're about the same. So she didn't really out in anything.
It's better than the score we gave it.
I do think sometimes with films like this, there's a bit of a skew in the ratings, because I think the only people who go and watch it are people who are fans of Fred Astaire and those kind of people who are gonna sort of be predisposed to liking it. It's like if you look on Letterboxd, some of the highest rated things are just Harry Styles concerts, because the only people watching them are Harry Styles fans. So they've got like these obscenely high ratings just for that reason.
Or what was that film? Sorry, Dan. That Dan picked that like great score and great reviews.
Oh, You're Next.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's quite biased in the fact of people that really like them types of films are going to give them high marks. It's not like a general population type thing, because as you'd find, it probably wouldn't get very good score rating. But yeah, it's like on I think I watched it on Amazon.
Oh, you're giving me ideas. Stop. I'm gonna pick a fucking Justin Bieber fucking movie.
No.
Please don't pick
not
a Justin
watch that.
Bieber concert.
Although-
your face is.
Simon, if you want,
I won't watch it.
It's fine.
It's not going to get watched. It will just get. I can't even give it zeros. I'm not even going to touch it.
Simon, if you want to laugh though, you should find Your Next, because it is funny. It's fucking funny, and it's doubly funny because Humphrey thought it was quite good.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People that like them type of horror films, they're going to give it high marks.
The main villain decided to kill his whole family so that his girlfriend could pay off her student loans. It's great. It's actually the worst fucking film I've ever seen.
So the movie about American uni student.
It was the worst film I'd seen that at the time of watching it.
Okay,
Definitely
cool.
the worst.
Not
film
as
I watched
bad
that
as.
week,
Yeah, but like I pick my bad films because I know they're bad. Like,
I film was better.
oh shit!
Who's got the worst bad film?
Yeah.
With Your Next, right? My lasting memory of it is looking at the spreadsheet and seeing that Ben was the first to score it and he tanked it. And I was just like, something's gone horribly wrong for Ben to tank a film. And then I sent a message in the group chat and I was like, what's going on? And Ben was like, this is awful. I don't know why he's done this. I'm just like, this isn't like Ben at all. And then I watched it and I was like, oh.
Oh shit!
For Ben to give something a 2 is really fucking weird, because he gives a lot of benefit of the doubt. So for him to have given multiple 2s, you go like, oh.
No, I still believe I still have my bad movies, and I can still probably get someone to give me all ones.
Every single one of them has been bad.
No. I can give you really fucking bad.
No, you've done it.
No, trust me.
You're good.
I can really give you real bad.
You can go home. You finish.
No, but Simon, I believe you. I believe you can do both.
You haven't seen the level of depravity that I have get to. I'm not as like my depravedness is not as bad as John, I guess, but I have a very twisted.
Oh.
I hope we're not in for some dark times.
Not
sorry.
yet. Not yet.
You picked Antichrist.
I forgot about that.
That fucking film.
I was a bit different.
I was talking to
Definitely
Angel's
different.
dad about your picks earlier, and I was like, there's no middle ground because either it's this or it's the most depressing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's never not interesting.
You was talking to who before?
I was talking to Rachel's dad about it.
Oh, yeah. As a random kind of fact to this, just unrelated, but someone made me remember it. In the Spanish dub of the film, instead of empathicalism, they say emphaticalismo. And it just makes it even more funny when later in the film it's explained about empathy and what it is. And then obviously Spanish viewers are thinking, what the crap? Emphatic is a completely different word to
That's brilliant.
Do we want to do favourite scenes or?
Yeah, why not?
I have a most disappointing scene.
That's the opposite.
I don't have a favourite, but I do have a scene of note.
Okay, we're opening it up for this film. A scene of note. What's every
So-
scene of note?
As I said, I'd spent the whole film thinking Fred Astaire is a huge dick. I really don't like Fred Astaire. But I'd also spent the film up until this point thinking Audrey Hepburn's all right. And then they're in that club. And then she goes, I want to express myself.
Oh,
And she just starts
Oh,
doing
you
the,
just-
dance,
Crazy
the
dabbing.
weirdest dance, and it goes on for so long.
I forgot about that.
Oh, it's just nasty. To be honest, her acting in it is. Oh, I'm like, aren't she supposed to be a really famous actor? Really, and then I was dialogue and everything in the film. I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
I genuinely couldn't wait for that scene to end. As soon as she
Yeah.
went, I feel like expressing myself, and I was like, don't.
I still think she acted well, but yeah, that scene just went on too long.
There's,
All the
there's a time
dancing
and
in the film.
there's a
went on
time and a
too long.
place to express yourself, Audrey, and it's not now.
And it's not in that club.
And
I was just
it's,
sat
it's
there
after the
thinking-
film's over.
That was the right club to do it in, to be honest.
I was just sat there like, please, Audrey Hepburn, you're the only thing about this film that's not annoying me, and now you're really irritating me.
Oh man.
This was my first Audrey Hepburn movie.
I think it's my third after
Hmm.
Breakfast at Tiffany's and Roman Holiday.
I've never seen that.
It's all right.
They're better things.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I've not seen that many Audrey Hepburn films.
she was saying Breakfast at Tiffany's is better. Obviously very different films. It's
Better
not-
than this.
no, it's
No
Get out of
way.
here.
but the storyline's better. Yeah, I think
That's a good one.
stuff in there as well, doesn't it? That's a yellow
Oh.
face.
Actually, I do have a kind of favourite scene, but it wasn't actually in the. So it's the bit when they're in the elevator. It's the only bit I enjoyed because when Fred Astaire, I think it's Fred Astaire or maybe the old woman, I'm not sure now. When one of them says, "You told me you had Tourette's," I thought she said, "You told me you had Tourette's." And I was like, "What?" And then it clicked what she actually said, and I went back to being like, "No."
Oh,
I'm sorry, dear. I can't possibly follow you today. I've got Tourette's.
Oh man.
You can just hear Audrey Hepburn going, Bonjour, Paris. You just hear wanker.
Fuck you.
Oh man. No. Alright. What was your oh wait, was that your scene to note?
But then my scene of note was I feel like expressing myself.
Oh, that's your most disappointing one as well.
Yeah, no, it disappointed me because Audrey Hepburn became one in a long line of people that annoyed me in this film.
I like how we'd all just sort of blocked it out, and then you mentioned it, and we all went, "Oh."
I'd say my favourite scene is probably when it all goes wrong. Because these people fucking annoying bastards, and then it all picks up, and they're like, "Oh no, there's water everywhere." It's like, yeah, fuck you.
There's water everywhere. Wait, what?
When the fans chucking water everywhere.
Yeah,
When it explodes on the stage.
and Fred Astaire's sitting there in the water, like, "Oh bother," like, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
You're all a bunch of bastards.
there's that scene. There's like that little bit where like the clip's fading out, and he's just sitting in the fountain going.
Yeah,
I was like, "You caused this. This is your
Yeah.
fault." He's like, "Thanks, Audrey. Thanks."
Yeah, don't be cussing the model. Like,
that's how much I'd had enough of the film. It was just like, yeah, they're all fucking ruined. It's all ruined. Fuck 'em. I do not care about any person. But yeah, actually, probably the coolest bit is the photo scene, because developing film is quite a process.
Oh, that scene actually where she's walking down the stairs and she's kind of coming down the stairs going, "I can't stop, just take the photo." I was like, what's the power balance here?
It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! You just took it away from me.
talking about the photos, some inaccuracies and then accuracies. As you know, Dan, as well, like the light came into the dark room, so the exposure that he first is trying to put up got but it still came out completely fine, as if it wasn't exposed to the light. And then the one that I think, is it that one or a different one that he puts on under to develop, he doesn't leave it for enough time. So it's just like, that shouldn't be developed. Like,
That's the point. It was too quick.
But the thing is, when he blows up her face onto that big poster, and it's just her eyes and her nose and her mouth.
Yeah.
You don't actually see him change anything. He just cuts into the picture, and then I gather you can enlarge it, but you'd still see like the
shadow,
the tones of her face,
Yeah,
not just
all the
black
lines,
and white eyes. Yeah.
There's the benefit of the doubt. You have to just assume that went A to B, and that's it.
No,
Well-
fuck it. I'm docking points for story.
Because they didn't do the dark room well enough.
Contrivance.
then oh, sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, Alec, I'm sure you'd have been like contrivance, and as soon as you saw that raft when they're in that little outside the castle bit, where they're on the raft and it conveniently takes them across the other side. And at the end of the film, it takes them down the river.
I was just saying, they're like, that couldn't happen. Fuck. No, there was an actual one though. It's when it shows up on Fred Astaire's plane as he's about to leave.
Oh.
And I was like, not a fucking chance. No way has he just undergone having 87 stitches. And he's just gone, I shall now get on a plane. It's like, fucking no. That's not, especially not that plane that he's about to get on. And then Fred Astaire's like, I love every broken bone in your body. And I'm like, fucking, could you be worse? Could you be a nastier person? Like,
It was
fuck,
funny.
man.
I was like, nah, that guy probably wants to really do you one. He's just they're like $5,000 because some lady he was trying to, get it on with, slapped him with a statue.
Like, he doesn't even know what happened. He doesn't know anything about what happened. And we know that he's a dickhead. But Fred Astaire doesn't know. He's just really, really happy that Audrey fucking just assaulted him. And he's like, yeah, I love her again. I'm like,
statue cost $5,000. I love every broken in your body.
She did me seriously bodily harm. And he's like, fantastic. She loves me again. And I'm like, fucking, what are you doing?
No, fuck off.
Yeah, kind of after that, you almost need a line from Audrey Hepburn just being like, I really wish you didn't. Like, this is causing me no end of trouble.
I just want a quiet life.
I'm
Leave me alone.
not sure I've got a
creepy
funny
old man.
face either.
I'd have so much more liked it if like she just didn't go back to the fucking like fashion show. They're just like, she must be coming back soon, right? And she just doesn't. Let's just show back up in like New York, and it's just like, where were you? And she was like, no, you were all dicks to me. I nearly got fucking raped. I'm done. I went home. Go away.
You took over my bookshop. You started off as this.
Oh,
Nothing
so
really
annoyed me.
changed.
That's so annoyed me when she went, I'm going to call the police, and then they lock her out, and she doesn't call the police. I was like, just do it. Why wouldn't you do it? Like, you, these people have just locked you out. Like, why would you not do that?
Wait, what do you mean? When she got back in, you mean?
No, when they locks her out, I've been like, yeah, get on the horn. Like, they've just locked you out of your place of work. Go and fucking call the police.
But the phone would have been inside, wouldn't it?
No,
She
they must
could've-
have street
She could have
phones.
gone somewhere else.
Oh, I don't know.
They must have had phone boxes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you don't know how far away it was.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Go and find one. These fucking weird people just chucked me out of my shop.
Could have gone to a shop that would have been nearby to ask them to use the phone to call.
Yeah, you got a neighbour.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It's like, oh, a lady needs the police. Yeah, use the phone. Lady. Don't worry. Yeah.
That would have been a great phone call to shoot, though. But she's like, "Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. There's a photo shoot happening in my place of work. They've kicked me out." And they all seem like bellends.
Elma, I have been usurped by a bunch of vacuous bitches. Can you call the police, please?
Right. Sammy, you came in real quick. That was quite.
You sort of lagged as you came back in, and it looked like you tripped over and landed in a perfect position.
It was just going like, "What's so fucking funny, face?"
Oh, no.
Oh man. Another inaccuracy, which is, I give it because it's okay, and then inaccuracy. Ben reminded me. There's a scene where there's a guitarist meant to be playing. Can't remember if it's in the club or
It's in Foster's house.
yeah, Foster's house. And I kept thinking, he's not playing like, or she, was she? She's not playing like, because I think it happened in the club as well, but maybe mainly in Foster's house. She's not playing like properly along with the music or the right chords or anything. But then I remember that at the time, and same to these days, most of the time, they can't hear the music, and they don't know like what music was playing. Obviously, it's different shots, so they were just told to pretend to play the guitar, and I'm just there going, that doesn't match up what you're pretending to be playing. It's not match up to what's actually being played. But that's okay. It's just random. Yeah, I noticed.
I was so done by that point. I was just like, Fred Astaire's wearing a fucking Ming the Merciless beard. I'm just like, whatever, man. Like, let's just wrap this up.
It's something that's quite important in the film, or a plot point, or a minor plot point, which is also true, of course, to do with fashion, which is probably one of the few things they got right in the film, or throughout the film, was how the designer, what was his name? He was doing the catalog exclusive. Do you remember? I think he was a real designer though, or based on one.
The character.
Yeah.
I don't know the character.
Okay.
But he's based on.
Yeah, he's based on. Yeah.
Who did the actual designs in the film?
Yeah.
He was the real victim of this. He got duped into fucking making Audrey Hepburn like 20 fucking dresses. and then how could he have foreseen she'd have had a fucking love triangle with this walking corpse who was doing our photos. Like he invested a lot of money, and he had no reason to anticipate that. And he's just like, I'm going to lose my fucking business because of this.
So ironically, so in two different ways. So Givenchy, is that how you say it? Yeah, Givenchy.
I think it's pronounced Givenchy.
He was so obviously real designer, but he was also designer for like all of Audrey Hepburn's kind of like clothes since Breakfast at Tiffany's, pretty much. But this was the first film he was actually credited, which was rude. For the awards were given for the fashion in the film she was in, the clothes designs, but he wasn't credited. So someone else took the credit as the head kind of person in the kind of fashion clothes department. Edith Head. She took the kind of credits before, but this was the first film he was actually properly credited in. And when they talked about, I could lose my job, like you were saying, Alec, like back in those days, usually the kind of designers, they designed a catalog and all the kind of different companies or magazines would come and pick what they wanted and buy what they wanted from the catalog. But for him to only like design one catalog, like in real life, yeah, a lot of people could have just been like, nah, F you, we're not buying your stuff no more. And if he's doesn't do successful enough, they might steer away from it, fashion house afterwards. So that was pretty accurate. But yeah.
That's what gets me when he's trying to get, when Fred Astaire is trying to get Audrey out of the club. The fact he doesn't appeal to that, I'm just like, that's all you had to fucking say. You didn't have to do this bullshit. You just have to bring up this guy's reputation is on the line. He hires a lot of people. If you don't show up, you've made like fucking 30, like however many people he's employed, you've made them all jobless. Like, that's all you had to appeal to. But he's a prick, so he doesn't. That's, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, take that, Pat.
Zero fucks given.
What game are you playing, Pat?
Find the mute button.
Baseball.
Baseball. The most boring fucking sport ever.
Talk about baseball and you're playing it. While you're at it, what's your favorite or least favorite or notable scene?
A Marvel cameo.
Would you shut up?
The explosion.
Oh no.
Honestly,
That's a true explosion. The water.
The water was the only explosion in it.
Would you shut up?
don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think I got engaged enough into it to have like a favorite or noteworthy scene.
Or least favorite, disappointing.
I mean, the fact that it's a musical is disappointing enough.
Boo.
Fair enough. I forgot that you really dislike musicals.
Yeah. Just wasn't me.
Fair enough. I gotta think carefully about Fred Astaire film. So I still need to pick an actual good one if you haven't seen one at some point. But,
Simon, have you got a favorite / noteworthy / disappointing scene?
Yep. Yeah. Well, wait. Did Pat just like log off, or has he? Okay. Back to
He's
baseball.
on
then.
Xbox. That's what we know.
Okay. I don't know. All of it kind of blurred together with interpretive dancing and people being jerks to each other, I guess. Okay, actually, no. What was the name of the actual the older lady at the beginning of the film? I can't even remember.
Let's call her Barbara.
Okay, sure. When Barbara started off with the pink scene, I was like, yeah, okay, sure. This is the fashion thing. And with the clothes flashing by and all of it suddenly all changed into pink. I was like, yeah, I guess that's fashion. I guess that made sense. But then afterwards, when she was with Audrey, well, I can't remember the main girl's name now. Fucking hell.
I've just been calling her Audrey.
Audrey, yeah, sure.
Okay, the older lady.
Oh, okay. When she was with Audrey, and she was like, okay, you gotta learn how to, she puts on her like headscarf and pretends to be like, you gotta follow my moves to be like a more submissive woman, I guess. And I was like, that's just odd, right? You're supposed to be the woman, the old lady is supposed to be a person, Barbara is supposed to be a person who's supposed to be leading women, like, you know, like innovating women, like leading the charge of women, and you're teaching her to be a submissive girl. I guess I didn't quite get it. I was like, it felt wrong, if you know what I mean. And I was like, I don't know what your message was trying to portray, and it all went. I mean, beforehand it was already falling down. Then afterwards it's like, oh wait, there's still some rubble. TNT. Everything is cleared out now. Just absolute empty shit. What the fuck? It doesn't matter.
Also, for another contrivance, Audrey knows the lyrics to the song, but she doesn't. She's not tried to sing it before. She doesn't know the words. Fucking plot hole.
So you got to drop another point?
No, that was a joke, actually.
Yeah.
Keeping you on your toes. Ooh.
Her name is Maggie.
Maggie.
Yeah, the old lady. Classic older lady name.
I mean, I think Barbara was probably a bit better, but like, okay, sure. Maggie probably actually, Maggie is okay. Sure. Maggie and Audrey was just together, and it was like, it's.
When you say Barbara, it makes me think of two things.
Streisand?
No.
Streisand, what else?
Good one. No, Barbara Gordon.
Okay.
And then I don't think there's a Barbara in this, but Golden Girls or something like that.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road, back again. The heart is true.
But definitely the most biggest contrivance in this film.
He's trying to sing a song.
The biggest contrivance is you won't let me sing. Sorry, Simon.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say the biggest contrivance in this film is that they were happy. The French people were happy to see Americans in the Eiffel Tower. Mm-hmm. That is the biggest contrivance that's in this film. That makes no sense.
3 Americans all presented their hands to the French people, and they took them, and it was like, nah.
That's absolute bollocks.
Gone. Reality has been fucked. It doesn't happen.
Like, I know you're supposed to immerse yourself in movies, but like, Jesus Christ, that's not how that would work.
I'd have actually really respected the balls on them for that. Like, they still do it. They do the exact same things, but none of the French react. They all just go like.
No, I'm just imagining if this film was made today.
Bonjour, Patty.
Saying that there were a few scenes, I think, where they have the public look at them like, what are they doing? But I can't remember which scenes they are, but there are a few scenes like that where the public's just looking at them like, okay, and just carrying on as if nothing's going on. And also, how was it in the Eiffel Tower? Because there shouldn't be French people besides workers there.
Yeah, French people are banned from the Eiffel Tower.
No, it's just that it's a tourist attraction.
You've been
I
on the
mean-
London Eye.
No, I haven't. I'm not going on that.
How the fuck are you not been on it?
Miller's been, but not me.
I rolled the dice and I fucked up.
Wait a sec, Camilla, you want to say something? That's it. You don't want to repeat it. One of those things.
Come on, Camilla, I can take it. Let's go.
I actually don't remember what was
Is there something about the romance, Simon? I think it's something you said, Simon.
What? What?
Something about the romance or something.
The romance? What? It's a bad romance? What are you trying to say? I don't know what you're
I'm trying to say rah, 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 rah.
I think it was just before the French people thing. I can't remember.
Oh right, the dancing with the old lady and the wardrobe.
How
Oh,
how to be
Somebody said the laundry.
a lot of the criticisms in the movie were obviously fair in 2022. When it was made, it would have been really normal. And given that in the 50s, that's what women were expected to be like, that the whole House of Lovely scene is about, then
Okay.
kind of makes sense. But it also, especially at the start of that song, is like, oh, you need to tell them like where you get your hair done, what kind of sheets you sleep on. So whose picture is that?
What? Dad, what the fuck?
That's in magazine now. If the quality is like the equivalent of Vogue or
Vogue.
Harper's, if there's a model on the front of it and just in an exclusive collection, then they're gonna do promos that's like, what's in my handbag, or a house tour, and this is where her jumper comes from, or like it's kind of just a precursor to the same kind of things done in publicity now, with the added, it's the 50s, so this is what's expected of a woman.
Ah, so more blatant sexism. Okay, cool.
It's like, it's
No. I mean, like, I meant that scene generally, like, oh yeah, more blatant sexism. That's the way it was during that time.
yeah, but also just normal promo stuff.
That's true.
So I just like the idea of what's in my handbag, and it's like it's vomit. I'm a model.
Oh,
Search like Vogue, what's in my handbag, and I think GQ does one as well with like guys in their suitcases or something, and it's literally like Angelina Jolie going, I've got this moisturizer, I've got a picture of my kids, this is my key ring, this is like, that's literally like content now, so makes sense for it to have been content in the 50s as well.
Eh, makes sense.
Thank you.
Not really stop.
Thank you. You're very valuable.
Oh, that's sweet. Ah.
But,
Camilla lucked out. Phew.
Well, it's
Well,
almost as sweet as yours. Ah, look at this beautiful sunset thing.
what's on Dan's camera?
Nothing. He's just left and he's left it on blur.
I was so hoping he was going to moon everybody again. I thought that now's the time.
Uh,
Oh god.
I think.
I think what Camilla's saying here, absolutely fair. Like these are like this is stuff that these are things that stop me from being harsher on this, because the bits, if I went against everything that I just fundamentally object to, it's like, no, this was kind of part and parcel of the industry and everything. If you're gonna do a story like about this, then yeah, you need to do these things. But the bits I object to is mostly Fred Astaire's character. I can't believe outside of the Stone Age, I can't see any of that being socially acceptable. And her acceptance of it, I'm like, babe, you gotta have some kind of, oh god, don't turn to Camilla as I'm going to do this. But I was like, have some fucking self-respect. Holy fuck. Like, Fred Astaire is not a fucking decent substitute for like your choices do not need to be limited to a rapist and a fucking dickhead who just like belittles you every day. Like like
Father Christmas.
how did you bring Father Christmas into that?
Oh, did you just call Dan Father
Hey,
Christmas?
fuck you.
He's the skinny one of us.
Yeah. What you gonna say?
That's it. I'm done there. See you later, guys.
If you haven't seen
I'm offended.
their movie or kind of any romantic screwball comedy movie, don't bother. Like, if you've not seen a Fred and Ginger movie, don't. They're all kind of similar, where it's like nobody has communication skills. If anyone literally just said, "This is what's going on. Please, could you do this? This is who I really am." Like, there would be no plot. That's basically what the whole plot of every one of those movies is. And
That's true.
it's on the time for the guy to be older and kind of infantilize the woman that he's supposedly interested in and disrespect her and all the rest of it. And her intellect wouldn't be important to him because what was valued in a woman is being able to be like pretty and shut up and do what she's told. So they don't challenge that because it wouldn't be, it's not the right kind of film to challenge that. But that this is, it's like, I think I've watched probably all of the Fred and Ginger movies. And if you think the dance matador scene was long in this one, in the Gay Divorce Day, it goes on for like 20 minutes.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, guys.
Massive dance scene of like 50 couples dancing. It's just like, what is happening? Why so long? And the guy not being very nice to the woman. It's just kind of another one of those of its time things. I think the criticism is valid, but I think if we were watching this in 1957, we probably wouldn't say any of the same things.
Yeah, I think the thing about specifically about her intellect and the comments he makes about them, I'm okay with. Well, I'm not okay with him saying it. I'm okay with the wider society accepting it. I am not okay with her accepting it.
It makes sense for who she, like, that's her whole personality is, but not looks type.
And she's headstrong. Like, they established that she is headstrong enough that she will have a go back. So the fact they set her up to do that, but then she's like, oh, but I might get a man out of this. I'm just like, who are you trying to tell me this person is? Like, what the like?
But you said when all a woman wants is a man. Being honest, all she wants is a man. It's like a plot of every single movie.
The only one who's not like that, I swear, that's in something really big, Mary from Pride and Prejudice, but then she's not the main character.
Mary, 100 years. And she's a minor character.
Yeah.
And she probably does end up getting married.
But that's just for money. She doesn't actually want a man.
Exactly.
Yeah, she didn't want to be homeless, basically. So she had to get married.
Well, her sister's married rich, so she probably doesn't need to. This is a different conversation.
Yes, Mr. Darcy, we have to talk about something else. Sorry. I just had to.
I need more of those. I need more of you being bitchy and calling people Mr. Darcy.
Oh yeah.
Don't pick the 2005 movie because that's
just. I'm not gonna pick
it's
it.
nothing to do with the book. I think you should pick it.
I'm not picking any of them.
About picking Pride and Prejudice.
Can I pick Pride, Prejudice, and Vampires?
Yes.
What?
Because I've not seen.
Oh man, it's probably horrible.
All Fire Island.
Pat is not happy. I can tell. I can just feel his aura. Here. Should we pick Pride and Prejudice? And he's like,
What?
Oh man.
Deep
How
unhappy.
Prejudice and Zombies is good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, zombies, not vampires. Sorry, yeah, my mistake. I remember.
Say prejudice again, Dan.
Prejudiced.
Nah.
I'm trying to be too smart and say it too fast.
Oh. Bless you.
I think my favorite scene. I don't know. The thing is, I have a few
Gosh.
scenes I like.
Wow.
I mean, it makes sense with what I rated it. So sorry. Not sorry. Anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah, it didn't make sense for me to say sorry. Anyway, the initial pink scene, I just thought again visually and camera wise, cinematography wise, I thought, or set designs, everything in there was designed. It was done so well. I thought, just everything in those kind of initial scenes. It's like, this is some really good stuff. This makes sense. This is, yes, I get it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that actually. If I was being genuine about a favourite scene, then that was probably the only point in the film where I was going, this might be all right. And then Fred Astaire turned up.
From there, got a bit iffy. I think I found the scene in the expressing myself scene funny. I was just laughing. But I also it was also a scene I did like it, but maybe it's because I also could see, well, maybe not really that scene in particular, but throughout the film, you can see her ballet training and like all the ways that she'll step and move is very much like a trained ballet dancer. And Camilla picked up on a lot of that as well. She pointed out to me. So I kind of like little bits of her dancing throughout it anyway, since don't get to see her doing that, which is it's just nice in general. And I think even though he was a dick, Fred Astaire, it made me laugh where he was just like, I love every broken bone in your body. This guy wants to like beat you up, like seriously beat the crap out of you. He's just lost $5,000, has nothing to show for it except surgery. He's pissed off. And you're just like, I love your broken bones. He's just thinking like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I want to get him.
I love the idea he just watched some guy and he's just like, this guy also assaulted me, actually. Like, he chucked a guitar at me completely out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I was like, this guy's lucky that this guy doesn't have, I don't know, like he doesn't ask some bouncer or something to just jump him. I think there's not much to him. But, and I don't know, I think I found some scenes like ridiculous to the point of I was just laughing. What the crap's going on? Like the scene where they're impersonating the people from Tallahassee or whatever. But then I was just like, that accent is not from Florida. What? Like, it's meant to be from Florida, but it sounds like from Texas. And I'm just like, I know these French people, maybe they don't know the difference, but come on.
Well, the person working the door just gives it to them. They come up and they go, hello, we are these people. And she goes, oh, the ones from Florida. And they change their accent. And I'm like, I know you're meant to be a fucking hippie, but Jesus.
Like, no one in Florida has ever talked like that. I was just like, I kept going the whole time thinking, I'm so confused. They've got Texan accents. They're doing some random show. They're really trying to go up the stairs and all this stuff. I'm just like, you know what? It's so silly. I just gotta laugh.
Oh, I think it's when they get in there, and then the Floridian couple actually like show up like pretty much just behind them, and they're like, no, they're the imposters, and I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What's going on? Why any of this?
And then the excuse they gave, it's like, they want to sell you out to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yes, you must leave. It's just like...
I'm just like, I thought I was watching a musical about a lady who like goes into modeling because she wants to meet like this Parisian lecturer. And now we're impersonating Texan people. Sorry, we're impersonating people from Tallahassee. And we're going to do a musical number to infiltrate a fucking philosopher's house. I'm just like, what? Who took the wheel? Why are we here? We've gone so fucking far off the track here. Like, what? Why are you wearing a fake beard?
To be honest, Fred Astaire looked better with the beard on. That was the first time, in the film, I was just like, oh.
I was just going to say, it really suited him, that final sequence with him with the devil moustache.
He looked like evil Spock.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he should have been like that through most of the film. Oh, man.
I would have explained why he was such a prick. Kind of like, oh no, he's evil Fred Astaire.
Man. I think probably the part I probably dislike the most, or just aspect that you've already talked about, is when she's just like the whole kind of insinuating she would like to marry him kind of thing. And I'm just thinking, what? It was already absurd enough that you like this guy that basically that sexually harassed, assaulted you, whatever. And it's been insulting you all this time. Like, you haven't even had enough, I feel, time to be like Stockholm Syndrome. Like, this isn't Beauty and the Beast. Like, you've had time to go off and do your own thing. And there's just this dick of a guy who you don't even care enough to turn up on time to work, to your temporary work. He didn't tell her what time to show up. She's like, no one told me. And then, I know this is a fault of the script, but it's still funny. He tells the lady that, yes, I will have her there at 10 o'clock. And then when he meets her up, he's just like, show up 10:30. Yeah? All right, cool. Just, she's late twice.
From fucking apartments across fucking, like, other sides of the fucking, like, town they're in. Like, why not all just be in the same apartment? Why have her be isolated? Like, I don't understand how any of this is functioning, or how you envisioned this in your head. Just like, oh, we'll all be in 3 different, completely different buildings in different parts of the city. We're all going to coordinate this perfectly. Like, why? Why did you think that? Why did you plan any of this way? No, I'm actually going to take that off. I'm going to take that off. Fucking story point.
They might have had to pay for their own accommodation.
I hate this film.
Saying that, Fred Astaire's accommodation, like hotel stay, came to about $8,000. I mean, I don't know where he was staying with a front desk man like that. That actually, he made me laugh as well. When she's like, well, go get him. And he's like, okay. Sorry, it is too late.
I've absolutely done that to people before. Because, oh, you want me to get the person? Sorry, they've left the building. Yeah, I can't help you. Yeah. I've absolutely done that before. Absolutely. Because some people you just can't take people seriously on the phone sometimes. Because it's just like, I'm not paid enough for this shit. All right, let's go. That's the way that life is sometimes.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
So, I guess I'll ask. You got any like final thoughts for the film?
Oh, no, wait, Ben,
Oh,
who
wait,
has favorite scenes?
wait, Ben, have you?
I think my favorite scene, I suppose, probably the most memorable scene for me was the dark room scene, where the basically the set piece that's all set in that and the dark room where Fred Astaire is doing his prints and making all his photos come to life. I thought that was just original and quite unique and quite well done in terms of like how it was lit. It was lit in terms of like being like a real dark room would be, and how they used the space of the location to their advantage and based the whole sequence and choreography all around that. And yeah, it just looked quite visually eye popping, and how the two actors just like moved around each other was quite effective. So yeah, I think that's my most favorite scene, just because you can see that the relationship would coalesce in that respect, even if it was problematic. It's sort of like, okay, I can see how it would force together because of that moment. So yeah, I did like that moment.
That was a cool scene, actually, yeah. In the red light, yeah.
Did also think of one that I liked, and it's when they're trying to get Audrey into the shot with the model, and like she's trying to explain to her what the books are, and the model keeps going, and like midstream she's just like, what are you doing? It's like, yeah, I quite like that. That was my whole problem with this. I really liked her character in like the first, I don't know, third of this. And then it was just, no. She just loses all agency, and it's like, no.
Yeah. Oh, another link to that scene, when the model shows she's reading comic books, she actually was like a big fan of comics and read comics, so they decided to have her reading that, like put that in the film.
I got grumpy at that bit. No, just like, because that's obviously like a joke. And I'm like, what? I really like being intellectual, and it's like, oh, what are you reading? And it's like Minutemen from Mars, and it's like, yeah, well, why can't she? Fuck you. Why can't she be reading Minutemen from Mars? Does that not make her intellectual enough? Maybe she likes it ironically. Maybe it's a bit beyond your understanding, you fucking chauvinist prick.
Maybe
Take some more fucking photos.
Maybe she likes encounters of their kind, you know.
Maybe. It's into science fiction, not sciences. No. Wanker. Glue another fucking hippie beard to your chin.
Dan, what about you?
I said my favourite scene.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
I lack the willpower to say anything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Should we pick the music, Dan?
Hmm?
Should we pick the sound of music?
I should do.
I know you like it.
It's probably one of my, I'll say, favourite musicals.
I kind of wanna. I like Sound of Music.
It reminds me of Christmas.
Yeah, because it's all the Nazis.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Oh, man. Well, it would be like a apt time around this time of year, I guess.
Yeah, it's always on at Christmas. They always fucking, you bet you anything, it's on at fucking, like, I don't know, the 22nd of December or Christmas Eve. It's always on the telly.
Watch this. This is the time when Pat leaves film club. It's like too many musicals. I'll come back when you're back to normal.
I think me and Pat have like made our boundaries clear. Like, stop picking films featuring France and stop doing musicals.
For musicals in France.
What about the French Connection?
What about the French Connect? Did I fucking stutter?
No, I was gonna say fucking Beauty and the Beast.
Because that's not actually set in France.
I mean, Beauty and the Beast is not set in France.
I think you'll find it is.
District
Name's
30
fucking Belle.
No,
Fucking
yeah, I
French,
was-
mate.
They literally start the songs with Bonjour.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's definitely set in
Yes.
France.
She has to introduce herself. She has to say, Je m'appelle Belle. French.
District 13.
Sorry,
Or
what?
not Beauty and the Beast. No.
It's a musical set in France.
Oh, is it? Huh. Beauty and the Beast. Musical set in France.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's a French film.
Fuck it.
I was waiting for you to say that to be honest.
On a side note, one French film I probably won't pick because it's probably as messed up as Antichrist.
No,
But-
No.
I know.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Please don't. I would not watch it.
I don't
Tell
want to
me.
either. Oh, wait, actually, someone tell me what it is.
Mars.
No.
Oh,
I
that's,
Oh,
That's
there's
one.
another.
The
Oh, man.
Nymphomaniac.
No, not that. I haven't seen that. Damn. Yes.
I know what. I think I know what film it is you're talking about.
It's. Oh, do you know the name of it?
Yeah, I
I'm in such fucking suspense right now.
fuck is, and it. Oh, I can't remember the name. What's the name of it?
I'm about to lose a testicle. Someone say the name.
Irreversible.
That's-
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I have no idea what that is.
yes, that one. I
Fucking
think I know
French.
it.
So it should be irreversible.
Et blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Probably, but
Bleep,
yeah,
bleep, 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 bleep.
as anyone who's seen it would probably agree they don't want to watch it again.
Is it the? Yep, it's that film. That's one of the two films that I'll never watch. If anyone picked them, I'm not picking. I'm not watching them.
Picked
Is that-
Tokyo Gore Police.
I know that's watchable.
No,
Them two films.
no, it wasn't.
I would-
Mars and that film. No, not me.
I- Watch Tokyo Gore Police again, then watch Irreversible again.
God.
Oh,
You-
okay.
It's pretty
Yeah.
fucking grim.
Right,
Yeah.
sorry, I need a fucking piss. I'll be right back.
You know
Yeah.
how up in dark that film is.
That there's, as I said, there's two films that I won't watch unless them.
Yeah, before I watched it, I didn't know what I was in for.
Oh
It was
God,
very
you
well
poor man,
made.
you poor man, Emmanuel.
It was very well made, and it's quite. I think part of it is quite realistic in certain aspects as well, isn't it? That's what's like so messed up about it.
Oh no. It's okay. I just oh shit. It was released August 5th. That's my birthday. I was like, oh shit.
The Birth of Salmon.
Oh no, that was the streaming date. Okay, whew, that's not the same. But it's got like 3 stars, 3.5 stars. It's the 2002 one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What, out of 5 or 10?
Out of 5. It's got 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'll check it out. Oh well, I said I'll check it out. I'll read some reviews.
It's got a really horrible scene in it,
It's
Yeah.
3.8 on Letterboxd.
and it's that one scene is the reason why I will never watch it.
Yeah. But even like just everything around that scene as well. That scene is obviously terrible, but yeah, it's not a. You
It's
watch
not
watch
it's-
Anti. Don't watch this. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I'll watch Antichrist first when I have time on. Making
What?
empty promises like I go watch Antichrist then. Fucking
You should totally watch it with your family.
No. True. Nah, Simon's gonna get slapped up. You don't say.
No.
Don't tell
That
me
was
to-
when I left. That was not what I expected to come back to. Emmanuel going, Simon's about to get smacked up.
I wouldn't watch this. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, I was gonna say final thoughts, but Ben just left the room.
That's fine. Just go for final thoughts. Tell us. I think most of my final thoughts and probably Alex's ones are French people sometimes aren't great, and this film isn't that great.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
A place in my heart.
Is that cool? Are you gonna get a blocked artery? Are you gonna have a heart attack soon? What are you trying to say?
No.
Okay.
Oh man. I kind of get how it was like a classic film at the time and for many years, and how a lot of people liked it. And as problematic as it is, it was funny enough, ironically, not because of someone's face. It was funny enough and over the top enough. And like, oh, Pat left.
The real funny face were the friends we made along the way.
Ah, yes. But yeah, it was enjoyable. I mean, I think Camilla did make it more enjoyable for me. And she'd be singing along or dancing along, which is great. But I think it's one of those films that's like, yeah, it's not good, but I did have a good time. And I think that's the main part for me. Like, I had a good time. It was funny.
Just to clarify, Camilla didn't dance along with the bit where Audrey expresses herself, did she?
Oh, no, she didn't.
Nobody did. There we go.
I think she could do it well. She could probably do it better, obviously. Probably a lot of people could do it better. I guess so.
Agreed.
Yeah, sorry, we're just going final thoughts. Anything, Ben?
You can't say it good.
It's funny. Yeah, that's all I say.
Cool. Yeah. And maybe I should try and watch my picks beforehand.
Maybe. I like the chaotic nature of you not though. I think that's fun.
Okay. But yeah, whose pick is it next? Alec.
Yeah, it's mine.
What's your pick, man?
My pick for next week is a film that's been in my life since I was a fetus.
So I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
Apparently I watched this film multiple times a day for like the first 3 years of my life. So I know it really, really well. But yeah, I couldn't have my Disney Renaissance round. So fuck you, Pat. You're not gonna watch this. But yeah, my pick is The Lion King.
Oh, the live action version.
No, there is no fucking live action version. It's all animated. They lied to you.
Yeah, I know.
Miller.
This is so silly because I remember hearing people say it's the live action version, and I'm like, but that's not real. That's not how that works.
What's funny is they went to go and they tried to enter the film into the Oscars, and they just basically went actor, supporting actor, and then just named the entire cast, and they basically entered The Lion King, the fucking 2019 version, into every category other than best animated feature.
Well,
That was the
That's-
only one they didn't enter it into.
Yeah, but okay. The original animated Lion King is what your choice is. Cool.
Yeah,
That's nice.
that's on the nosy.
Oh,
And it's
God.
already been scored twice. So chop chop.
You
I think
really making me sit through this.
Are you for fucking real? What? You bet fucking you eat shit.
So wait, why did Tat not want a Disney Renaissance round?
Because it scared him basically. The idea of trying to approach a round of limitations was just too much for his mind to handle. So he was naturally just vehemently against it, even though I went around and I checked and everyone seemed fine with it and everyone could have worked around only having 10 films to pick from. He called me a Tory. He called me a fascist. I thought that was a bit strong. But
Boy,
everyone
come
seemed
on.
fine with it. But yeah, I think that, you know, in totality, I don't think someone who likes The Lion King 2019 should be able to pick this version for their own pick. So in the end, I think, you know, this was the best recourse really. So
Okay.
yeah. 'Cause I don't know if you've seen The Lion King 2019, but it basically tries to just do everything shot for shot, but just misunderstand everything that like, made the original really good. It just gets everything just ever so slightly wrong, and then sometimes I just get it really, really wrong, and it's fucking insulting to me that people go like, "Oh, it's the same film," and I'm like, "It's not. It's really not the same film at all." It's I'm offended you'd say that, but we'll leave that for next round. Do you not like it, Dan?
I don't know.
Never seen it.
You have,
I
yeah,
have
we've never-
seen it.
I was about to
just-
say.
I don't know how I'm gonna react to it. If that makes sense, because it wouldn't be a film I'd pick to watch. Like if I was gonna go and go, what film am I gonna go? I don't know. I saw, when was it? The other while back, it was on the telly, and I was like, I don't know.
If you
Okay.
sync this for me, Dan,
I'm
gonna hit you with my
give it
car.
twos.
If you give it twos, there will be fire and brimstone from my butt.
Gross.
Yeah, you don't know. It's going to be really gross. Cut it off there. Boosh. Oh no, Emmanuel's back. There you go. I thought you just hit it then. And I was just like, oh, I've got a fucking YouTube button.
All right, my battery died. What did you say about the Oscar thing? That sounded really interesting. Sorry.
Oh, The Lion King 2019 tried to enter themselves into the Oscars, and they basically entered themselves into every single category. And but it was like best supporting actor, and they just listed the whole cast. So Beyonce, Oliver, John Oliver, everybody, Seth fucking Rogen. They were like, yeah, nominate him for best supporting actor. The only one that they didn't nominate themselves for was best animated feature.
Even though it's entirely animated.
It's entirely animated.
Which is actually the question I need. Are we actually making Lion King a musical?
I don't think it's a musical.
No, in my opinion, it's not.
I think it's got a
Okay.
musical element to it, but I don't think it is one.
Okay, because I read that conversation. I got kind of confused about it because there's only like not that many songs, I guess. But like, if like for it to be a musical, I feel like everything needs to be sung nearly.
Yeah.
I think also the danger is if we list it as a musical, then Humphrey will instantly be against it. So if we can keep that not that,
Yeah, Humphrey and
I mean,
Pat will
Pat would
tank
be
it.
against it.
Couldn't hate it.
Would probably like it,
Yeah.
but
you better not
guess-
fucking sync this for me, Humphrey. I'll murder you.
But yeah, that's a good question though. In general, like a lot of Disney films, they have songs in them, but they don't have as many songs as a musical.
This is what got me with Pat's stance on musicals, though, because he was like, fuck musicals, fuck singing. I don't like them in my fucking films. And I was like, do you like Disney? And he went, yeah. I was like,
Most Disney, yeah.
most Disney has multiple songs
I think
in them. Like, syntax was fucked there, but
I get what you mean. I also, after working in cinema for so many years, like I met a lot of people like Pat who held his same stance. If it was a musical film, they would walk and they didn't realize it was musical. They'd be like, "What the f- is this?" And they'd walk out. Like, I don't want this crap, or maybe crap, but I don't want to watch it for me. But they would be the same people who probably would like certain kind of Disney stuff. But I think in certain people's heads, and maybe it's how people grow up as well, like when it's not live action, I mean, obviously you do have some live action Disney films, but when it's not live action and it's animated, there seems to be a different kind of allowance for what's tolerated and what's kind of okay or good compared to, because I guess the whole thing about animated is that this isn't real. This like it's artistic license. They can go crazy, whatever they want with it. Whereas if it's a musical, this is real life. Why are they just randomly breaking out in song? No one's going to do that in real life, except in maybe one or random two situations where it kind of makes sense for maybe 30 seconds. Like, I think it's the break away from reality and that kind of, how you say that kind of, I can't explain it. If someone,
je ne sais quoi?
I don't know, but that
Oh, I mean, like you say that, but like, I mean, I think I've had this conversation with you, Rob. But I would have chose like Hamilton as one of the films to watch, but that's not really a movie. It's a stage show. But I mean, like, it can't present it like if you watch the whole thing as a thing, it on like on Disney Plus, it's presented as like a whole movie. So it's like, oh, but it's not really a movie. It's a stage show. So it's musical wise. I mean, that's definitely a musical, obviously. But it's like I couldn't really choose it because it's not really a movie, and this is film club.
I would be up for it being chosen, to be fair.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I wonder what Pat would think of that. Like,
Oh, he actually likes it.
oh, he likes it.
Yeah.
So is he okay with stage plays but not musical films?
Oh,
I think it's a bit of a scattergun, to be honest. Because
he doesn't like stage plays, but he likes random shit, basically.
well, he always says that he like hates musicals and he can't stand the idea of singing in films and all of this kind of stuff. But he loves The Greatest Showman. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay, let's fucking end that